My favorite game of all time is Celeste. It's my first platformer in well over a decade, but it grabbed me so instantly and has had me held for so long. While I did start the game knowing of all the trans positivity within it, and with being able to heavily relate to Madeline as a trans character, what kept me in the game for 300 plus hours now is speedrunning. Holy
Censored.
chat. Oh, okay. Yeah, we take those. Yeah, we take a 4022. Who's this? Who's this running? Who
Censored.
is she? Who is she? That's over a minute PB. I don't need to tell you the joys of speedrunning. It's a style of gameplay that's exploded in popularity in the last few years, and Celeste is a game that thrives with it. This game feels as if it was built for speedrunning, with intentional tech that the game slowly teaches you to make the game go faster, and even an in-game file and chapter timer to keep track of your personal best. So it's no wonder that this game was the first one I truly dedicated consistent time towards getting better at. As you saw in the previous clip, my current personal best for the 80% category sits at 40 minutes and 22 seconds, with my current goal being to get a time below 40 minutes. So I had the thought, what if all I was missing to get that extra little boost was to make this game even more trans than it already is? Let stream me explain from here, and I'll meet you all back here in a second. If you don't know, today what we're doing is we are doing 2 Celeste 90% runs. The first run I'm going to be doing is completely vanilla, just completely standard Celeste. The second run, I've added a bunch of mods to Celeste. I've made it as trans as I possibly can. We're going to see if being trans in Celeste, having trans mods, being as trans as possible, gives us a speed boost and gives us the ability to go fast. If you don't know, my PB is around 40 minutes in Celeste. I think right now it's, what, 40 minutes and 20-ish seconds? So we're gonna see if we can break the sub 40 for the first time with the trans run. Unless I do it with this 90%, but I need climax for the video, so it's like I kinda hope I don't, you know? I kinda hope I don't break the sub 40 here. Let's get started with the vanilla run and see how badly it goes. So, what is a Celeste 90% run? Simply put, it's completing Chapter 7, what's considered the end of the base game, as fast as possible from a new save file without skipping any chapters. I specifically run the game without assist mode or variant mode enabled, as that's what I find most interesting. Now, notice that I say without skipping any chapters, but chapters in Celeste are broken into 3 different sides: A sides, B sides, and C sides. For the game to allow you to move on to the next chapter, you can be any of these sides, not just the A sides. The C sides are inaccessible until completing all of the B sides, and you would assume that the B sides would require more time, right? Being more difficult and requiring you to run through the A side to get the cassette, it feels like it would be obvious. But there are actually 2 chapters in the run that it's faster to go through them, grab the cassette, and then complete the B side rather than just completing the A side. Chapter 5 and Chapter 6. I'm not good enough to run 6B just yet, but I will be running 5B. To save you all a bit of time and get you to the point of the video that I know you're here for, here's a quick summary of the vanilla run with chapters and final time. For Chapter 1, I ran around 15 seconds behind my usual pace and ended with a 131. For Chapter 2, I was even slower and ran around 20 seconds slower than pace, making this look really good for the trans run, ending with a 228. Unfortunately for the trans run though, in Chapter 3 I picked up a bit of speed and I ran a 606, and then in Chapter 4 I did the same and ran a 351. But here's where the fun part of the run begins. Definitely the hardest section to pull off nicely in the entire run, 5A cassette into 5B. I grabbed the 5A cassette at a slightly slower pace and exited to map at 146, and after making a few hiccups in 5B, I ended that chapter with a 458. Counting milliseconds, this put me around a 645 for the entirety of Chapter 5. Now onto the other major half of the run, where I got an 850 in Chapter 6, and finally finished off the run in Chapter 7 where I got a 1309. Arguably one of my worst Chapter 7s that I've ran in a long time, ending the run with a final time of 43:38. While this may seem like a pretty fast run, this run is more than 3 entire minutes behind my personal best, so I feel extremely confident going into the run that actually matters. Here's what you all have actually been waiting for. In me making Madeline Celeste as trans as possible, and adding as many trans mods as I could find, we ran like a 43-minute run just then. And let's see if we can make it better. Let's see if we can do better being trans. I hope we can. I'll be very sad if we can't. I have very high hopes. I have very, very high hopes for how this run's gonna go. So I have to not get confused, because when Madeline doesn't have a dash, I still have her to be in the trans rights colors. So I can't exactly tell whenever my dash is gone. A 135 is slower than last run, but that was the warm-up. That was me getting ready to like mentally prepare for the amount of trans rice that's gonna be thrown at me and how happy it's gonna make me. So we're gonna have one bad run. We gotta have one chapter that's bad, you know? Estrogen gave me a double dash, And now I get to extra fly with the trans trail. Double Dash, Estrogen gave you Mario Kart. Estrogen gave me Mario Kart. Estrogen actually made Double Dash real, made Mario Kart Double Dash real. Estrogen invented the GameCube. 224, I don't remember what last run was, but post me editing Wonder will be able to show you like if it's faster or not. Hi editing Wonder, I'll make sure I voice over saying hello to you specifically, Frog. Hi Frog, and hi to the rest of you as well. Editing Wonder is going to take over for a bit because I didn't really say much in chapter 3. I feel like I was focusing extremely hard this chapter because chapter 3 is a bit of a difficulty spike compared to chapters 1 and 2. So other than getting really excited at the trans books and huge mess, holy chat, trans reference, hang on, trans books reference, and being literally the best Celeste player to ever live and getting to see the pretty trans trail, Hotel went pretty smoothly, ending with a 607, literally only milliseconds slower than the one from the previous run. The runs are looking really close so far, but the last half is where I have a lot of time I can save. I think we make up time literally everywhere after chapter 4. Back to the wind that everybody enjoys. And by that I mean I'm the only person who enjoys it, but I don't have a dash, I can tell because Madeline doesn't look very happy. Madeline doesn't look very saturated. Someone turned the game down. See how stressed Madeline is not being able to have trans rights? See that? So I can confirm this chapter 4 will be slower than the last chapter 4, but the run's gonna be better. This time you can easily make up in Summit. Exactly, you know what I'm doing. A 421, that's about 25-ish seconds slower than last run. But this is time that we are going, not that we can, that we are going to make up. We have trans rights this time. How could I run it slower? And the trans cassette. Oh, you love to see it. Oh, it's 5B time, chat. I'm scared. I'm scared. This is where the run could die. While the run didn't die, 5B went not the best, to say the least. Today may have been a pretty bad day for 5B in general for me because I was missing things in both runs that I rarely ever miss. Like, for example, Bubs Drop, a really cool tech that lets you skip around 30 seconds to the map, but no, I missed it and had to take the long way both times. Then I took this death right here for literally the first time in my entire life. And it definitely wasn't looking good for this chapter anymore. These two mess ups set me up for bad in the chapter, and even though I did other pretty hard rooms on my first try, I ended up leaving this chapter with a 5:15, with my current total time being 22:38, over a full minute slower than the last run. If this run is going to have any surviving chance, I have to make it up now, in chapter 6 and chapter 7. Let's focus on chapter 6 a little more this time, because I want trans rights to do well. You got this, Yippee. It's the trans rights run. Of course I got it. How could I not? Can I get through the holes on the first try this time? This is the run. This is the run. Gaming with a capital gay. I'm going to run the best battle-in section that you will have ever seen in your entire life if you don't look at secure account on the leaderboard. While it may not have been world record level, this battle-in section actually did feel really smooth. I was fixing mistakes that I had made previously, making less deaths, and overall feeling so fast and fluid through this chapter. So much so that this run felt like it actually had a chance now, after all the mess-ups in the previous chapters, after time and time again getting slower times. This was it. This was finally the comeback. I ended this run with a much improved 808, and while it still wasn't the best for my standards, it was 42 seconds faster than the previous run. And now, I'm only 23 seconds behind. Which might seem like a lot with only one chapter remaining, but I need you to remember what I said. Arguably one of my worst chapter 7s that I've ran in a long time. By one of my worst summits ever, I mean that the previous run was 2 to 3 minutes behind my PB. I've ran Summit in less than 11 minutes before. If I could save almost a full minute in chapter 6, I knew I could do the same here. This was the run. Flag 1. Oh, I can breathe. Oh, I can breathe. We're fine. I can let a sigh of relief. We're free. I don't get to sub 43. But with this run, that's terrible. New world record. New world record. Secure never even had a chance. With that run, Chad, I think that we can definitively say that being trans while playing Celeste makes you not only a better gamer, not only cooler, but also makes you faster at the video game. And there you have it. We've definitively proven that being trans makes you faster at Celeste. Even though in all seriousness, this was a bad day for my runs, and the times definitely showed that, I had so much fun doing these runs and making something I enjoyed out of them. Thanks for hanging in there with me while this one was a tiny bit late. And if you made it to the end of the video, hi! I appreciate you watching the entire thing. If you enjoy videos like this, you should go check out my Twitch, where I do a lot of these runs live. That's all for me now though. Thank you all for watching, and in case you haven't heard it lately, I'm proud of you. Take care everyone.